All right, we are live. Cool. Welcome all 12 of you to Tribal Council number 8 of the season. I want to get this started off. I'm just going to snake across my screen here to make this easier for me since you're all here. So I'm going to start with Stephen with a PH in your name. Last vote, obviously a 9-4 vote, first vote going into a merge where there's a lot of different factors coming from places. Do you think that 9 was more of like a voting block situation, or do you think that's kind of a crew moving forward?
Um, I think it was just sort of like a way of, I wouldn't say like a marriage of convenience, but I think there was an opportunity for folks to see, hey, I can advance in the game one more stage through this vote, and I think that's what you know those nine did. Um, you know, could it continue tonight? Sure, but in Survivor, things are never written in stone; they're written on parchment. So like, you never know. That was my attempt at like having a good line, by the way. It probably didn't work, but um, yeah,
I appreciate the attempt. I do.
thank you.
I appreciate it. Um, Jay, as we have, you know, people maneuvering and doing things that as Steven said, are convenient for them, do you think soon we're going to see groups start to form, or is this going to be more of kind of like a people are going to do whatever the hell they need to and they don't really give a shit about who they're doing it with?
I think it's probably going to be closer to the latter. I feel like people's play styles, uh, one, differ from each other, but also are going to differ, individually over the course of the game. And so naturally, I think that lends itself more toward, you might be in heated agreement with someone on one vote, and then on another vote, it just might not be the same. So I think you're probably going to see a lot of different people work. You're going to see people working with different groups over the course of the game. At least that's what makes more sense to me when thinking about how to progress through the game.
Okay. So with that mindset, Abby, of kind of having to do whatever you need to do, how does that how does that change how you approach a round, if it does at all?
What other way is there to play Survivor other than doing what you need to do?
Okay, maybe I should rephrase that. I feel like every time I ask you something, it's really stupid and you come for my throat. And honestly, I appreciate it because it's valid. But maybe like because you know how like in Survivor, there's a lot of times you're working alongside people, and if we're playing a game now where who you're working with each round changes drastically,
Mhm.
how do you figure out which people are going to work for you in that situation?
I guess each round is another opportunity to prove loyalties. It's also another opportunity. It's another 2 days worth of calls to be made. So I think you have to merge the how much you like someone just to talk to personality wise and where they're voting. And if they vote opposite you long enough, then maybe that's not a person you should probably be working with.
Sure. Scott, when it comes to people that you choose to work with, do you think it's easier to come together with people that you connect with emotionally or strategically?
I mean, personally, for me, I think a little bit, this might be a cliche. What's that? Cliche answer.
Cliche.
I think that might be a little bit of a cliche. This might be a little bit of a cliche answer, but I think a little bit of both is needed because you're playing Survivor. You need to be strategic, but you also don't want to just like talk about the game 24/7. You want to be able to have an emotional connection with someone and really be able to enjoy the people that you're working with. So I think it's a little bit of a cliche answer, but that is my answer. I'm gonna start saying cliche now.
Cliche. I love that. Brandon, as you know, people get closer in bonds and stuff, it can become and has become harder to, make those decisions to have to cut them in certain situations. So do you think we're approaching a point or will be approaching a point soon that the emotion and social part of this is going to really muddy the strategy?
There's something that I want to say, but probably not a good thing to say in a tribal, other than I think the next two are going to be just fine. I think after that is where it's going to get a little bit tough, right? You spend a lot of time with people, you get to know people, you chat with people, so relationships get built. And I think for sure, yeah, definitely is going to get harder from here. Yes.
Okay. All right. Eleanor, let's talk about paranoia. I think it's a very valid thing to discuss. There's a lot of things that could be happening, could be floating around, could be happening when you don't know. So how does that affect your judgment calls right now?
Oh gosh. Paranoia is definitely starting to get to me, especially tonight. I was thinking I was gonna have a nice little dinner before tribal with my mom and my brother. And then shit hit the fan and I got a ton of messages from everybody freaking out. So I am really paranoid because up until recently it was I thought I knew what was gonna happen, and now I don't think I know what's gonna happen.
Oh, well, it sounds like I got a lot more content to ask questions. Okay, Laura. So if shit's hitting the fan, what does that say about what's going on right now?
I think one of the biggest things you can take away from a statement like that is that people here are all playing very hard. I don't think that even the people who seem to be flying under the radar or people who seem to not have a lot of connections, it may appear that way, but that may not be the case. I think that everyone here is playing as hard as they can, and everyone here is trying to look out for their best interests. And as some other people have alluded to, it may change round to round as to how you accomplish your goals and how you do that. But ultimately, that just means that you're playing the game as hard as you can.
So, Stephen, with a V in your name, when it comes to people playing hard, that obviously can be an arbitrary statement. Like people can see different types of gameplay as being harder, softer, however you quantify that. But if everyone is going 100% on the gas pedal, do you think that oversights could be made?
What do you mean by oversights?
Like things that may slip through the cracks.
I mean, the last couple statements from people just kind of make me wonder a lot about what you're asking, because I was asleep and I woke up to one message from Prod telling me that I needed to submit my trust ranking. So like I am not in a similar boat as like what Eleanor was saying. So that maybe there are some oversights and opportunities and things like that. And that makes me wonder and question a lot of where I stand with some of this. But that's kind of more selfish in terms of a whole tribe. Obviously, people are going to play their game. Some are going to play harder, some are going to play softer. But I think at the end of the day, what I think Abby said it best, like, what other way is there to play Survivor than what you kind of know? And how you got to kind of find out and balance who you align with and that you also want to enjoy, but try to figure out how you're going to vote together in terms of that. So just some interesting insights.
Absolutely. Riazo, we have yet to see an idol come out this season. Do you think that time may be approaching, that we may see one?
Yeah, I think with how crazy it's been, tonight, who knows what could happen pretty much, but I hope not. Damn.
Okay, heard. Kevin, you are safe tonight. With all of this shit happening, obviously that probably feels good. But does that kind of change your paradigm a bit that you know you're not going to go anywhere? Does that help you see what's going on in a clearer sense?
Not in a clearer sense, because the thing is you don't want to use one round of being immune to ruin the rest of the game and just be taken out next round. So, making a crazy, wild, outlandish move right now could just screw me over next round. So, no, it doesn't really change how I'm looking at playing this round or this game, just because I won immunity once.
Fair assessment. Wheeze, as we go into a vote where there's still a lot of moving parts, how do you see this game progressing? Maybe that's a very meta question, but do you see this game following in similar as it was last round, or do you think it's just going to be a clusterfuck?
I think that it's incredibly hard to predict because I do believe that every vote has the opportunity to switch the game up, to turn it on its head. You never really know what's going to happen. Like, you could feel totally confident tonight and you could be going out the door. You could feel completely comfortable next round and be out the door. So I don't expect it to follow any kind of formula, no. I think I'm just trying to take it each round as it comes and just try and get all the information I can to try and hopefully predict what's going to be happening at Tribal. But do I think that it's going to be a similar vote count to, let's say, last time where it was, I think, 9-4? I don't think it'll be 9-4 tonight. I mean, yeah, there's not 13 votes, but you know what I mean. I think that anything could happen. End sentence.
End sentence. Okay, finishing up with Jonathan. So obviously you need to throw your trust somewhere with these people. Everything's changing. Everyone's on their own. A complete shuffle, it sounds like at this point. So is it possible to trust anybody? Or do you kind of have to forge something?
That's a really good question. Sorry, I'm not in the right state of mind right now, but I don't know. You just have to try your best to survive each round, and I tried my best, and we'll see if it happens.
Okay. All right. Does anybody have anything else they want to add or get off their chest before we go to vote? Okay. It is 10:20. Give you until 10:23 to lock in your votes, and then we will go from there.
All right, y'all. Now, as always, is the time for shout outs. Say hi to your prod guests, the viewers, your pets, anything. Please fill the silence.
I'd like to shout out everyone I've ever met. I'm not going to list the names again.
I'd like to shout out to Mr. Moneybags from the Monopoly series. He's truly an American hero and a true patriot.
I'd like to shout out David Morris because I know he's watching. I love you.
I'd like to shout out all of my Battle of the Org friends who are following along. Hope that we are entertaining enough for all of you on this lovely Sunday evening.
Shout out to Steven's Best.
Shout out to, I call it a corset actually, but it's keeping things in place and less bleeding happening.
May I say you're looking snatched?
Oh, thank you. Thank you. It has some snaps on it too. It's been a very interesting experience, to say the least. I can elaborate more on that later, but it's not a sports bra or anything. It's the full-fledged thing here.
Don't snap it too hard.
Touche.
Also, shout out to everybody in everyone's prod chats. Everybody watching the viewing lounge as well. Appreciate you guys. Mainly my group, the ones that are in my chat. Like, kudos to you guys.
You should say who it is.
Not saying who it is.
How about how many?
Not even doing that. It's a party in there every day.
Yo, shout out my grandma for making this delicious dinner. For real.
Shout out to Riazo's grandmother for making that delicious dinner, for real.
Shout out to my mom and my brother who are watching in the other room.
She's got a whole other prod chat happening just in the other room.
I got one. Shout out actually for my therapist, because there's a lot that I feel like has been unpacked this week, with the game, with life, with everything. And I think mental health is super important. And cheers to that. So shout out to my therapist.
Double shout out to Steven's therapist.
He's what keeps this smile out.
Let's go. I love all therapists. Special shout out to Lydia. She sees me every Tuesday. That's my mother right there. Except for she's not, because she's not allowed to be. Because I think that's breaking. That doesn't matter. Power imbalance. Bye.
If your mom was your therapist, it would knock out like a whole huge chunk of what people need therapy for.
Yes, you're not wrong. But I tell you, it would help in the bills department.
Can you have complete, unbiased conversations then, Weeze?
Oh, with my mother? No.
Well, then shout out to Weeze's mother, because if I need a backup therapist, I'm calling.
Let's go June stands.
My therapist is so hot. And she's also my mom. Sorry.
Shout out to Abby's hot mom. Also, shout out to Weeze's mustache. Weeze is growing a better stash than I am. I'm still not hitting puberty.
I'm truly giving mask. Don't be too jealous.
Okay. I have the votes tonight. I have 11 votes. I have 11 votes. How exciting. All right. If anybody has an idol or an advantage and you would like to play it, now would be the time to do so.
Yeah, no, I have no idea where the votes are tonight, so I'll be playing my idol.
All right, so this is a hidden immunity idol. Any votes cast for Jonathan will not count. Anybody else? Okay, once votes are read, the decision is final. The person voted out will be asked to leave the tribal council area immediately and will be sent to Mirage Island. First vote. Jonathan does not count. Jonathan does not count. Laura, one vote, Laura. Jay, one vote, Laura, one vote, Jay. Jay, that's 2 votes, Jay, one vote, Laura. Jay, that's 3 votes, Jay, one vote, Laura. Jay, that's 4 votes, Jay, one vote, Laura. 8th person voted out as survivor of the Devil's Triangle. Jay, that's 5. That is enough.
Thank you. I just want to say thank you so much to Prod. I don't take it lightly that I was cast. I appreciate it. Not surprised. Thank you so much to the 2 of you that gave me the heads up. I really appreciate it. It was nice knowing that I was the vote going into this. But yeah, to all of you, good luck. It was honestly such a pleasure and honor playing with you all. I'm rooting for a ton of you to go far.
Well, you're not out yet. You're not out yet. So go give Bruce company. I'm sure he's lonely.
See you soon, Bruce.
All right. All right. So an advantage was played. Some shocked faces again. Seems like this is going to get interesting. Okay.